What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the engine room. If you guys have ever been wondering what a 110-year-old sailboat engine room looks like, now's your chance. We'll start with the main things, the engines. These are propulsion. There are two Caterpillar 328 10-liter V8 naturally aspirated diesel engines. They are bad boys. They super reliable. They are old truck engines which have been marinized with seawater heat exchangers. So these drive our propellers and make us go forward. We run them about 1800 RPM and we get about 8 to 10 knots depending on sea state. So yeah, moving from the engines, we'll move our way around to the starboard side to our freshwater system. We have to drink water. There are two primary places our water comes from. Number one, when we're on the dock, is from shore. We fill our tanks using just a hose into the tanks. From there, we have two pumps. We use one at a time for redundancy. I switch them over every week. So this pressurizes the whole system, including a water accumulator, which helps these not cycle so much. We have a UV lamp which kills any bacteria. So that's the one primary. The other primary is when you're at an anchor or on passage or crossing an ocean, whatever. A reverse osmosis water maker, desalination plant, whatever you want to call it. This is our HEM one. Here are our membranes, and how this works is there's a low seawater pump which pumps the water to a high pressure pump. The high pressure pump then pumps at extremely high pressures through these membranes, and what you have is a byproduct of extremely salty water, brine, and fresh water. The fresh water gets pushed to our tanks and the brine goes overboard. Moving forward, this is our AC plant. It's the chiller plant, which is our main plant down here in the engine room. This is where all the work happens, well, 90% of the work. Seawater cooled glycol loop using condensers. All the cooling and heating happens down here, and that pumps a glycol loop around the boat to each cabin where there are designated fan coils. Those fan coils use the hot or cold glycol to blow cool or hot air into the cabin. So this is a good old workbench. Got all my tools up here, which you'll see now, but this thing is where the magic happens. A lot of fixing going along here. Great thing is that I can't even stand up straight in this engine room, but hey, we make do. We've got our fuel day tank, and below us are our bilge fuel tanks. Back there, wing fuel tanks. So we gravity feed from wing tanks to our bilge tank, and then we have a fuel pump under the desk, which pumps fuel into here, which we use on a daily basis. I don't want to get in the way too much, but this is our tool section. We've got drills, drill bits, impact drivers, all that stuff, you name it in there. Full toolkit, precision tools, grips and pliers, spanners, socket sets. Up in the Barco orange toolbox set, we've got a bunch of diagnostic kits below that. Then we have like punches, hammers, saws, files, those kind of things, water maker filters, and then our 400 volt transformer. So from shore power we get 400 volts and we convert that to our 230 volt 3-phase. So that's done with the engine room. Now we go forward to our generator space. This is our generator space. So as you can see, we have our two generators here, and that is where the names come from. Then we have a bunch of tools and things which I'll go through with you, right? This is a nice easy box to get to. Just some painting and bits and pieces, cable ties, some containers, easy to work with, grinding tools. Up here is our cleaning box, which is towels, rags, brushes, those goodies. Then we have all our consumables. Most of it is like bolts, nuts and washers, screws, split pins, those kind of things. And you have electrical terminals and soldering kits, Dremels. Then we go up forward and we have our oil waste cans, vacuum, extractor fan, inverter and inverter board. Check up there, we have two calorifiers, hot water calorifiers to heat the boat's water. And then on our port side we have electrical cables box, plumbing, taps and dyes, engine service spares, oils and lubricants. Okay, so shaft alley. It's quite a mess down here. Becomes a storage location for a lot of things. And it's called shaft alley because the shafts from the engine to the propeller run through here. They are covered by this protective checker plate, and then they go through the stern glands out the back of the boat. As I was saying, a lot of storage back here, which is good. We can store a lot of stuff. We've got our water accumulator on the starboard hull, as well as our guest water calorifier for heating. We've got freshwater tanks in this frame section, big ones under in the bilge, and then two on each side on the wings. And then we've got our fuel wing tanks. These are the ones that drain gravity feed down to our fuel bilge tanks. Underneath here we have our guest grey water tank, and then forward of that is our black water tank with two scroll pumps underneath that. We have our house batteries above our fuel tanks, and those obviously supply the boat with 24 volts, and then the inverter supplies some of our systems with 230 from these batteries. Okay, to give you a quick view, those are two scroll pumps. That's our grey pump, and then forward of that is our black tank. Okay, I just want to show you one thing because I think this is pretty interesting. These are thrust boxes. They obviously stop any forces. I think it's lateral forces coming from the propulsion system and stop them from pushing any gearbox. So yeah, it just allows us to have torque, but not any lateral. I think it's lateral, pushing that way into the engine and gearbox. We come forward and into the nav room. Okay, so this is our nav room. I'll show you around a bit, but a lot of this stuff here is just electronics. We have our BNG systems, our Faruna GPS, we have a gyro compass under here, our Wi-Fi's, what's it called? NMEA backbone, that's right. Radars, VHFs, AIS, you name it. So all of our systems are on here, and then those communicate to things such as, well, they connect, not communicate, to things such as the VHF antennas, which are up the mast, GPS antennas, which are just above here in a little box. Wi-Fi routers, we have a Starlink Mini up the mast, which connects to a mini router up here. And then our BNGs and all wind instruments and things like that link through the NMEA backbone, which is also under here. But yeah, as you can see, this is our AIS, VHF, we've got a radar up here. 12 and 24 volt, not real. I mean, yeah, this is our 12 and 20 volt stuff. Not too much from there, but if you come here, a lot of our navigation equipment, like our radar, VHF, AIS, and behind here is all the systems that communicate with each other. Okay, so this is our main electrical panel. We've got our 24 volt side that side, and our 220 volt this side. These are obviously just breakers, so we can power on or switch off, and obviously if anything's overloaded, they trip here. This middle section is for transferring between shore power and generators, and between generator, starboard generator and port generator. And we've got things we can select here. So right now we're on shore power. Shore power on starboard is number 1 and port is number 2. So right now it's on number 1 on shore power. If I change it to number 2, that will mean we won't be drawing anything off number 1 and it will not be getting power. So, and then if you look further down, we have our waste system on the left hand side, which is just a little hydrostatic pressure system that uses air and pressure to determine the level of the tanks. We've got our Kohler generator controls, our master volt, battery controls, and windlass controls. So that's all in all what the system is for.